Hello guys, again, this is Alex here, bringing you part 2 of What If Deku was the reincarnation of Link. So, before I continue, thank you guys for the support on this one. Like I said, this is a collaborative effort with Erdgan Tsuchimikado. Give a... He's not right now with me here right now. He's actually scripting the other parts for part 3 and part 4 for the Zero Tsukama one. He's been helping me out a lot lately. This one is his idea, like I said, particularly this one. The part 1, I basically just did the origin. So yeah. And thanks for the support you've been giving him, guys. Yeah, he has some stuff in store for you. So, without further ado, let's continue this what if. So, the next day, Izuku wakes up at the Bakugo residence, very confused about his dream. He sighs to himself and thinks, the same dream, the same voice. I wonder if the voice was right. Will I find answers? He got ready for school. Katsumi was already having breakfast by the time he got there. Katsumi, hurry up, slowpoke. We'll be late if you don't. Mitsuki, oh, Izuku, good morning. How are you feeling? As Izuku would respond, oh, good morning, Auntie. I'm feeling great. I actually slept like a rock. As Katsumi will be starting, liar. Do you think the other people are deaf? I could hear you from my room. Sleep talking to yourself. So was another nightmare of yours, I presume. As Mitsuki tries to calm down Katsumi. Okay, Katsumi, we've discussed this already. I'll let him be. Come on, Izuku. Eat your breakfast. Eat your breakfast before it gets cold. As Mitsuki would actually start asking Deku some questions in regards to how his new lifestyle, living alone, how is everything managing, how his grandpa's doing, as well as how in general things are, playing out for himself. As Izuku would respond to Mitsuki saying that he's been feeling quite getting used to living alone, as well as since he doesn't really have to pay for his expenses, he basically usually tries to at least get some exercise done and do his homework. As Izuku ate his breakfast, he actually headed to school with Katsumi on the way there. As Izuku would say, hey, Kachan, was I really sleep talking? As Katsumi would say, obviously, you were seeing stuff about calamity, something about destiny, and some other crap, lost woods. I think I should have recorded you because the list goes on and on. As Izuku would try remembering something. Lost woods. I wonder. Kachan, have you heard of it? Katsumi, a little bit confused. Not really, but I've actually heard rumors that there's a forest that nobody wants to go or enter. Those who did never came out. But there seemed to be a guy that entered, and after about 10 minutes came back, and he said something about a thick mist covering the whole area. The deeper someone went in, the thicker the mist got. And another rumor about, heroes sending drones to scout the area, but lost the drones. So after that, they actually just put a warning sign and try to stay away from it. As Izuku is a little bit surprised. Wow, in that case, that might be it. Hey, I got a theory. The voice in my nightmares mentions the Lost Woods. I don't know, do you think it would have answers? So that may mean that I have a chance of going in without any problems. What do you think? As Katsumi would be contemplating, I think you're going a little too crazy, but if it's true, well, in that case, if you're going, I'm going as well. Besides, I want to see firsthand on how dangerous this forest is. As Izuku knew how Katsumi was, so it was useless to talk to her out of it, and they decided to go on the next weekend. As they arrived in class, Izuku was surrounded by a lot of his classmates. As one of the male students, kind of surprised, would say, wow, Midoriya, I had no clue you had such a powerful quirk. As another male student would say, yeah, Midoriya, how come you never told us? As Izuku was visibly confused and looked at Katsumi, which she just shrugged off, not knowing what they were talking about. But they realized that the incident was streamed by the news reporters on the scene. Izuku, a little bit embarrassed. Oh, you mean yesterday's incident? It was nothing really. As one of the female students, what? But I thought you were better than the pro heroes. As another one of the female students would say, in a flirtatious manner, yeah, Midoriya-kun, you acted like a knight in shining armor. I wouldn't mind being swept away from someone like you. As Katsumi gets very pissed off, hey, your dreams, bitch. Now back off, all of you. You freaking losers. Come on, Izu. Homeroom is starting. As one of the female students will looks like that rumors are true. Hey, Bakugo, why don't you lovebirds get married already? As Katsumi turns around, very pissed. And why don't you just shut up, you trap? None as your mouth before I explode it off your face, huh? All of their classmates were scared of the thought that Katsumi might do something like that. Izuku tried to place his hand on her shoulder, calming her down a bit, and going to their seats. Classes ended without any more turmoil. On their way home, Katsumi received a text message from Griselda, actually wanting to hang out with the two of them. After a while, telling Griselda to meet them at the mall, Griselda arrived with a silver-haired girl. As Griselda would say, oh, sorry for keep you waiting. As Katsumi would say, no worries, but I don't think that you've mentioned being accompanied. So who's she? As Griselda apologizes. Oh, my dear, apologies. Her name is Paya Shika. She's a bit shy, so I wanted for her to get out of the house a bit more and meet new people. As Paya, in an extremely shy manner, would say, nice to meet you. Izuku and the three girls got to know each other a bit more. So, in this case, just to give you a little bit of context, Griselda actually has a purification quirk known as Light Force, and three other abilities that aren't quirks called Din's Fire, Ferori's Wind, and Nehru's Love. Paya, even though she's shy, she has a shadow and teleportation quirk known as Shadow Step. Alright, so meanwhile, while Izuku was rather exhausted, and in his head he actually complained, wanting to go home. For the past hour, the group just wandered around aimlessly and engaged with small talk until a song from casual street performers made Izuku's mind click. He was enjoying the music, then, tears from his eyes started to fall. As Katsumi, kind of shocked, Izu, are you alright? As Izuku, with tears falling, I don't know. I was just listening to this song, but for some reason, I feel like, I don't know. It's just so sad and nostalgic. As Katsumi is worried, are you sure? Why don't we sit down here somewhere? No, somewhere here. As Izuku wiping the tears off, no, I'll just be heading home. I'll just sleep it off. Ladies, have a great rest of the day. As Izuku ran home, leaving the three girls behind, where Zelda, in a worried demeanor, would say, "What's wrong with Izuku?" Paya, wondering, "That's strange. He's been quiet from the moment he heard that song. Do you think he knows about the legend behind it?" As Katsumi is visibly confused. What do you mean? And what kind of legend? As Griselda would start explaining, in ancient times there was a kingdom plagued by a man that brought a great calamity to the land, but was defeated by a youth in green wielding the blade of evil's bane. And according to the legend, this hero in green time traveled, but this is all speculation. As Katsumi is wondering, that would explain Izuku's sleep talking crap about calamity, destiny, and something about the lost ones. Hmm, I guess I should have recorded him after all. Believe me when I say his conversation lasted a freaking night. It was like he was having a conversation of sorts. Probably a little bit shocked would say, wait, you two spent the night together? As Katsumi was flustered and red as a tomato. What? No! It's not what you think. As Griselda gets a little too curious. You know, the way it sounded. The way it sounded was quite indecent, so I hope it's not the case. What about his parents? Do they not know anything regarding his sleep talking? As Katsumi, with a sad tone, actually speaks, saying no. Even if they did, they couldn't tell us. You see, Mizuku lost his parents in a villain attack when he was 7, and that kind of changed the both of us. As Griselda, in a shock, would be kind of shocked and say, oh my, I had no clue." As Katsumi would say, "Well, back in the day, Zuko used to be full of energy and having an idiotic smile on his face the whole time, trying to mimic All Might, but I also bullied or made fun of Izuku with some kids that we used to hang out with. After that incident, Izuku stopped talking and smiling, and since we had to get in touch with his grandfather somehow, he stayed with us in the meantime. No matter what I tried or how much I tried, he stayed silent the whole time, and that made me realize something, that I was also the cause of his silence as well. So I apologized every time I saw him, and I had to get a response from him until he had to he had to speak up. And I wondered, even to this day, does he still resent me? In his eyes, am I still that self-centered little brat that used to bully him?" As Paya and Griselda were shocked. Griselda, putting in a hand on Katsumi's shoulder. "Oh, Katsumi, I don't know all the details, but in this case, I would say that time can heal almost any wounds. And if he still speaks with you, it's a good sign that he might have forgiven you. But tell me something. Do you have any romantic feelings for him?" As Katsumi gets flustered, saying, "What, me?" As if maybe it's just I'm doomed. As Paya would be curious, "In what way you're doomed?" As Katsumi, with her face all red and embarrassed, "Fine, I'll say it. I do have feelings for him, but for quite a while now, but I don't know if it's okay for me to be with him, since I did bully him, and not knowing what he thinks of me, it's driving me crazy. Please don't tell him." As Griselda would be smiling, as she says, "See, it wasn't that hard, was it? Anyways, let's get back to the topic. That legend isn't the only one, though, but every legend speaks about this hero in green throughout time. According to the legends and history, the first of the heroes was during the era of the goddess Hylia. But there aren't any records left of that era, and even if the legends were true, nobody knows the whereabouts of this blade of evil's bane. On the other hand, if legends were true, it seems that we may be witnessing legend. But to be sure, I'll research it some more, then I'll let you know." After a while of talking about casual stuff, in this case, um, let me see, the sun would actually be setting, and the three girls said their goodbyes as Katsumi arrived home. She actually tried to call Izuku, but with no avail. After days of waiting, the long awaited weekend arrived. Katsumi actually went to Izuku's apartment, which she snuck in and saw Izuku sleeping. She headed for the kitchen and she actually started to make breakfast. A while later, Izuku actually walks into the kitchen, surprised to actually see Katsumi, but it was expected. As Katsumi would say, "Oh, morning, Sleepy-kun. So, you woke up at a good time. Breakfast is ready." As Izuku would say, "Morning, Kachan. I appreciate the gesture, but you don't know it's kind of illegal to sneak into someone else's house, right?" As Katsumi, "Of course I know, but you aren't someone. I mean, it's just you and besides, as use your spare keys, your spare key. Anyways, you're ready for today. I told mom that we'd be camping and that we'd be back for sometime tomorrow. She actually gave me a weird look too. Anyways, heat up so we can go." After Izuku actually ate his breakfast, they started to head towards the location of the Lost Woods. After some hours by train and by bus, they actually finally arrived to this so called Lost Woods. And there was a sign warning: "Those who enter will lose their way back. Enter on your own risk." They ventured into the forest holding hands, Katsumi blushing. As they got in deeper, mist started to form and they heard music. Confused, they followed it to see where it came from. After a while, they actually saw that an imp was playing a flute. Wind Imp noticed them and ran up to them. As this imp would be happy, "Yay, people! Do you come play with Skull Kid?" As Katsumi gets confused, "Play? Izuku, I hope that this isn't the reason for coming here." Izuku saying, Of course not." Skull Kid gets sad. "What? No play with Skull Kid?" As Izuku heard the name Skull Kid, he was reminded of an old friend in a way. As Skull Kid, we play, you win. Skull Kid brings you to secret place. Skull Kid wins, we play more. Good, good." As Izuku's interest was piqued in the secret place that Skull Kid mentioned, considering that the way Skull Kid talked, it was more likely that he's been alone for quite a while now. So Izuku convinced Katsumi to play as well. They actually played tag for a while. Izuku and Katsumi finally caught up with Skull Kid, which was having a lot of fun. Skull Kid having fun. "That was fun. Play again, play again. So much fun." Izuku huffing and puffing. "Yeah, fun. So, where's this place?" As Skull Kid, cheerful, say, "Play game. Follow me to secret place." As the Skull Kid ran around the forest for another round of tag, Izuku and Katsumi had no choice but to run after him again. But this time they were led deep into the forest. The Skull Kid bowed. Uh, the Skull Kid bowed, pointed into a direction, and vanished into the mist. And when they turned around to where the Skull Kid pointed to, but they couldn't believe their eyes on what they saw. Ruins of a temple devoured by nature in this foggy atmosphere that was covering the whole floor beneath them. And they could make out a symbol like the one on Izuku's hand on some of the ruins. On the side, there was a big tree that had 3 oversized fruits, stairs that led to what seems to have been a room, and some weird writing on a stone door that laid on the floor broken. As they went upstairs, they saw a gentle layer of mist covering the ground, a sword in the middle of the room shining almost, probably just a light from the sunset piercing through the trees, giving it somewhat of a majestic atmosphere. Behind the sword, a massive tree trunk, echoes of what seemed to be a fallen tree. Around them, there were ruins of walls and rubble. A weird crystal-looking rock with symbols was near the entrance. As they look around, Izuku spots a stone door still intact. He rushed over to check it out. Katsumi, that was examining other parts of the area, was shocked to see all of this, and then she rushed by Izuku's side. After about 15 minutes or so, they managed to open the stone door, which stairs can be shown to lead below. Izuku grabbed the flashlight from his backpack and actually headed down the stairs. Katsumi was kind of scared to go down, but followed Izuku. After the dust settled, spider webs and the stench of humidity along the way, they arrive in what seems to be a study. A table covered in dust that was collected in who knows how long, an old lantern, a dusty book on the table, and three bookcases filled with books and with wooden doors on the bottom. Suddenly, a voice called to Izuku. This time, even Katsumi could hear it. They rushed back up, but nobody was there. It was already dark, and the full moon was up, enough to illuminate the area piercing through the trees. And from the rubble near the ruined walls, some rocks emanated a light blue colored light, and the sword from the middle of the room was still shining. As Izuku stepped closer to the sword to check it out, the shining from it slowly faded the closer he got until at the one step away from the sword, a humanoid figure appeared from within the sword, floating in midair. So, um, that's that's we're gonna leave it off at this point, guys. Yeah, I guess. I hope you guys like this. This script was completely done from Ed. He wanted me to do this a couple of months. I want to say a couple of months back. He already had the idea. I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna have to call Ed out. He basically did it. Did this what if because he knows another what if her who actually did it and he didn't like it. So he wanted to give his own take. He doesn't currently have any time to make his own channel. If he was, he would have been not told me anything about this. But in this case, we work. I hope you understand that at least we both work. Ed has hours that are not cannot work with me, so he's scripting part 3 and 4 of the Zero Notes Kaima one. And again, if you like this part of the video, or you like this what if series, he'll try to continue it. He basically, the area he lives in, it's horrendous. I know the reason why, because they're a fucking train always comes, so the recordings would always be interrupted by too much sound. So I know why he does not want to upload his own videos to his own channel. But in this case, yeah, collaborative effort at the beginning, but this is gonna be totally him. So any questions you have, Edgar would answer them. Okay, so yeah, and I hope you give this man some likes. Give this man some subscribers. I say he's my writer, but no, he's a good friend. We've almost talked like almost 3 months already, I guess. But anyways, I hope you like the video. If you want more, please do so, like and subscribe. If you guys have any questions or anything of that sort, Ed would actually be responding to them. Again, I'm not the guy who knows about Legend of Zelda. I know somewhat, but just basic stuff. He's the one who basically likes this stuff, to be honest. So yeah, I hope you liked it. And here's by next week I might try to upload this one, but this is what I've been working on. So you can get yourself an idea. No, this is not the Lex Luthor one. This is not the Lex Luthor one. This is a new one. I hope you guys can get an idea. Those who seen me in other Discord servers may know what I'm talking about, but yeah. Yeah, guys, hope you have a good night.